Okay, Unit 5 review. Be a test, I'm thinking Friday this week. Give us Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to review. Now, the first problem is you need to write an equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So that's y equals blank x plus blank, and you write that out a lot on this test. So m and b. So I got to find what m and b are, blank x plus blank. So m is the slope of the line, b is where the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So if I'm looking at a graph, the slope is the rise over the run, so I need 2 points. The first point needs to be on the y-axis, okay, so right there. That's point 1, point number 1. Put a number 1 above that. Now move till you get to another one right there. Would be a nice point number 2. Okay. Okay, so I just have to go from point 1 to point 2. So the rise is down, -1, -2. So -2 is the rise. And the run, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh, sorry, don't put 3 there. Just count it, put 3. So -2/3, 2 and 3 are only in the first row together, so it's already simplified. So it'd be -2/3 is your slope. Now the y-intercept is where point 1's at, as long as you put point 1 where I told you to. Okay, it's where it crosses the y-axis from the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So y is equal to -2/3 x plus 5. Okay, I want to do the same thing here. Y equals blank x plus blank. So m, b. So m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. Okay, so I need 2 points. The first point should be this one here, because later I come back to that. Now right there crosses. So the rise over the run, okay, it'd be up 1, forward 2. Okay, 1/2 is pretty well simplified, so 1/2, and then b is where point 1 is at, okay, from the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So y is equal to 1/2 x plus 4. Okay, now you are graphing the lines yourself. Graph each equation. These are lines, okay? No, they're not the v's. You'll know if it's a v if there's an absolute value. Y equals 4x minus 3. So if you have y and x, you want to make sure the y is by itself, which it is, and that allows you to identify your m and b. So m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. So the slope's 4 over 1, and then minus 3 be the y-intercept. So on the y-axis, you go down 1, 2, 3. And then from that point, we go forward, up 4, forward 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, forward. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, forward 1. Okay, then you take your ruler and make that line as straight as you possibly can. Okay, number 4, graph y equals, or -3x plus 5y equals 15. Now we want to do what we're doing here, but the y is not by itself, so I mark the y multiplication number 5 and circle it. Now it's a positive 5, so you can put a check mark. Had that been a negative, I'd go through the equation and make everything into its opposite, but it's already positive, so we're good. So I add 3x, then I make a 0x and add 3x to that. Okay. You have to make the 0, so you have 1. So you got 5 times y. Now you need to do your x first. 0 plus 3 is 3, and then plus the 15. And you go through here and divide every one of these by 5 so that it gets rid of the times 5 from the y. Now the y is by itself, and I have 3 over 5x plus 3. So now you have your m, you have your b. So slope is 3/5. The y-intercept is plus 3. Okay, so on the y-axis you go up 1, 2, 3. And from there we go forward 5, up 3. You go forward or up first, doesn't matter. You'd be in the same place. Okay, I really don't have room to do that again. So. Okay, so there's a line. Now these next two linear equations, you're missing one of the letters, okay? You're missing x. So if you're missing one of the variables, you're not going to have a slope. It's either going to be a 0 slope or an undefined slope. So we want to make our coordinates. I usually pick 3. You can pick as many as you want. Obviously more than 1 though. Okay, so the letter we're not missing is y. So in all of these coordinates, the y is 7. Okay. Now we're missing the x. It means I can put whatever I want in for the x. Let's keep it simple and just go 1, 2, 3. So you go forward 1, so you graph this 1, 7. Start in the middle, forward 1, up 7. Now go back to the middle. When you're doing coordinates, you go back to middle, forward 2, up 7. Forward 3, up 7, okay? And then I graph a horizontal line. That's a line with a slope of 0. Okay, x equals -3. Well, now you're missing the y. So the line's going to look different than that does, but I get the points the same way. Okay, so x is the one you have, okay? So all your x's are -3s. Then you're missing your y, so that can be whatever, so 1, 2, 3. How do you graph -3, 1? Well, you go backwards 3, up 1. -3, 2, backwards 3, up 2. -3, 3, backwards 3, up 3. So that line goes straight vertical. Know the difference, please. Okay, nothing on the back, so go to the next page. 6, 7, 8, 9, we're writing an equation of a line with the following traits. Okay, writing an equation of a line means we set this up. Okay. On the next 4, we're going to be setting that up. We have to find the m and the b. So m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. So the slope is -2. The y-intercept we don't have. This is not the y-intercept. Backwards 2, up 3 would not be on the y-axis. Okay, so to discover the y-axis without the graph, you use y equals m times x plus b. So m is -2, and then y is 3, and x is -2. So plus, you write b, -2 times -2 is 4, and then you get rid of your plus 4 by -4. Okay, 3 minus 4 is -1, that equals your b, so there you have it. Okay, we're doing the same thing. We need an equation that runs through these points. By the way, if you want to check the answers on these, you can take -2 times and have -2 here go in for x. Then add -1, 3, that matches the y, so it's good. Y equals blank x plus blank, so m, b. So m is the slope, and B is the y-intercept. Now if you don't have your slope, you find that with y minus y, x minus x. Okay, so the x is -1 and 2. 2 is your higher x, so we start with 2 with its partner 10 above it. Now after the minuses, you can have -1 and then -5. Plus, 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 plus. So that's going to be 15 over 3. Okay, 15 and 3 are in the third row, so to reduce it, you divide both of them by 3. That would give you 5 over 1, and if you end up with a 1 on the bottom, you can get rid of it, so it can just be 5. Okay, then B is found the same way. Y equals m times x plus b. So m is 5. X, y, it doesn't matter. I'll pick the 10 and the 2. Okay, b plus 5 times 2 is 10. So you subtract 10 from both sides. 10 minus 10 is 0. You can get a b of 0. Okay. If you want to check that answer, you go 5 times, and we'll try this -1 here, and then we'll add 0. I click equals, it better be -5, it is. Now if you want to try the other coordinate, it's kind of easy, but 5 times 2 is 10, just like it says. Okay, then the next page you're writing equations parallel or perpendicular. Okay, parallel, I want an equation parallel to this line and through 1, -4. Parallel, please write same m. Okay. So y equals blank x plus blank mb. So m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. Now to find your m, it's got the same m as this. What's the m on this? Well, the y is by itself, so you got m and b. So it'd be -5. Cross out the b, you don't use that at all. So -5 is your m. And then your y-intercept, y equals m times x plus b. So m is -5. -4 is my y, times 1 is my x. So b plus -5. Add 5 to both sides, and 1 equals b. Okay, y equals -5x plus 1. Now in the next problem it says perpendicular. Perpendicular, you flip the m and also make it opposite. Flip m opposite. So parallel, I'm going to have the same m here that I have here. Perpendicular is different ballgame. First, let's line it up. M's the slope, B's the y-intercept. Okay, so what's the slope on this? Well, it'd be 2/3, but what I need to do is flip m to 3 over 2. It's positive here, so this has to be negative here. So b, y equals m dot x plus b. So your m's -3 over 2, okay? So 3 is your y, and -6 is your x. Okay, so we take -3abc2 times -6, that's 9. You got to get rid of your 9, so -9. So 3 minus 9 is -6. -6 equals b. Okay, and these two lines would intersect, but they'd make a right angle. Okay, here's what we did in the last lesson. These are V's, okay? That's a V. Okay, y equals the absolute value of x minus 4. Remember how you want to do this. First off, if it's inside, it's an h. Okay. H has the same effect to x. Or no, excuse me, opposite effect. Opposite effect. H is opposite effect. Opposite effect to the x. Okay. So the V, the vertex, the starting vertex, the vertex at the start is 0, 0. But that causes it to shift. So the vertex and the shift means the opposite effect to the x. So if I see minus 4, I plus 4. Okay. So plus 4, 0, that's your x. Okay. 0 plus 4 is 4. The y stays 0. Okay. So you plot 4, 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then forward 4, not up or down. Then you do your V. There's no negative there, so it goes forward 1, up 1, backward 1, up 1, forward up, backward up, forward up, backward up, and there's my V. Okay. Okay, next one. That's a K value. What does K do? It has the same effect to Y. I'm just going to label it right there. K has the same effect to Y. So the vertex start is 0, 0. Now the vertex shift means I will add that 3 to Y. Okay. So 0 plus 3 is 3, and then that will be 0. Okay, so I don't go right, I don't go forward or backwards, I go up 3. Okay, and then I construct my V. Okay, now I got a couple more of these just so you get in the groove. There's not going to be this many on the test, but I got some right there. Okay, so that's an H. Remember what H does? It has the opposite effect on X. Which with plus 2 would be minus 2. Okay. So the vertex start is 0, 0. The vertex shift means I do the opposite effect to the x, so minus 2. And that takes my vertex now. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. The y stays at 0. So I go backwards 2 and stay there, then construct my V. There it is. Okay, number 13, that's a K value when it's outside. K value, what does it do? It has the same effect on Y. So the same effect would be minus 4. Okay, and the vertex shift means I will need to minus 4 from my Y. Okay. So 0 minus 4 is negative 4, and then 0. So I stay in the middle, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4. Then go forward 1, up 1, backward 1, up 1. And there we go. So again, H's have the opposite effect to the X. K's have the same effect to the Y. Okay, then of course what's to test without any story problems. Sailboat begins a voyage with 145 pounds of food. The crew's supply decreases by 15 pounds per day. How many days did the voyage take if the crew has 25 pounds of food remaining in the end? So remember what you need to do with your units. You got pounds and days. The time is the X, the pounds is the Y. So pounds per day. Well, they tell me that it's 15, but it decreases, so it's negative 15.x. Okay. So now I make a table with my X and my Y. Pounds is Y. Days is X. So since I have this rate, I go 0, 1, 2, then block it off. If I don't have this rate, I go 0 and then just block it off right away. So we had 145 at the beginning, then we add negative 15. So 145 plus negative 15 takes us down to 130. Then add another negative 15 takes us down to 115. Now, 25 pounds. Put that in the pounds column, okay? It says 25 pounds, and then we're trying to figure out the days that go with it. So then I make my line, equals Y. We started at 145, then the rate of change is negative 15, so negative 15.x equals Y. Okay, so you have 145 plus negative 15.x equals Y. And then Y equals 25. So cross out your Y, put 25. So you have 145 plus negative 15 times x equals 25. Now we have to solve for x. Okay, it's on this side, but it's got operations with it, a plus and a times. So we highlight the times. We get rid of the plus with them by subtracting 145. Okay, negative 15.x. 25 minus 145 is negative 120. Then I divide each side by negative 15. And x equals positive 8. Okay, so you can put 8 there. 8 days. Okay, next two are a little bit tough. You gotta know what, keep your stuff together and use kind of what I've told you. After 2 days of painting, 56 gallons of paint remain in the container. After 5 days of painting, 20 gallons of paint remain in the container. How many days of painting can we do with a full container of paint at this rate before it runs out? Okay, so we're figuring out the days, so we have days in gallons. The time is the X, the gallons is the Y. So gallons per day. Problem is they never give you the gallons per day. I mean, 56 gallons is how much is left after 2 days. That ain't per day. And then 20 gallons is how much is left after 5 days. So we put a question mark there for now. So when I design my table, I don't go 0, 1, 2. Gallons is Y, days is X. Okay, so you put a 0, but you can't go to 1, 2. You then block it off there and put the rest of the information in. Okay, so 2 days, 56 gallons. That's in the same sentence, so it's a pair. That's X, that's Y. And then 5 days is 20 gallons. Okay, and then we have 0 gallons. Okay. And then question mark for the days. Now, clearly this started somewhere, okay? So we put B. So when I make my line over there, it's going to start with a B. And when I have to use B up there, I need to figure out the gallons per day. And that would be Y minus Y, X minus X. Okay, so here's your X and Y, 2 and 56, 5 and 20. You start with the higher X. So 5 minus 2 on bottom, and then 20 minus 56 on top. 20 minus 56, you can plus negative that. That's going to be negative 36, and then 5 plus negative 2 gives me 3. Negative 36 divided by 3, then just divide it, is going to be negative 12. Negative 12 times x. Okay, so then when I construct my line, I know I'm going to have to start it with a b, and then plus negative 12 dot x. Okay. Then y equals m times x plus b finds our b for me. The m is the negative 12, okay? The m is the negative 12. That's why you have to do this over here to find your beginning amount. And then x and y, you can pick an x from your table. I'm going to go with 2. So x is 2, y is 56. So 2. So b plus negative 12 times 2 is negative 24. Then we add 24 to each side, and that takes us to 80. 80 equals b. Okay, now you can write your equation. You started with, and you can put 80 with the b. So you started with 80, and every day you'd add negative 12 times x equals y. Now y equals 0, okay? So you take out the y, you put 0. Okay, now you got to solve for x, just like on the last problem. You got a plus and a times, so you need to take out the 80 by minusing it. And then you divide each side by negative 12. Okay, if I get something like that, I'm going to go second PRB equals, second PRB equals, and be 6 2/3. Okay, so 6 2/3, day 6 2/3. Okay, solve. So remember, if we're unable to identify that, we go 0 and block it off. There's going to be a b involved because it had to start somewhere if it went down to 56 and down to 20. So you're going to have to use the slope formula to find the rate of change, and then the y equals m times x plus b formula to find the beginning. Okay. Okay. Number 16. The table shows a balance of a student's bank account at various times, and you see week 0. This is x, this is y. 0, 1, 3, 4, 9, and then 35, 68, 85, 105, 136. You need to graph a scatter plot, draw a line of best fit, and write an equation of the line. Okay. You're going to need a little mini table right there when you get to the point where you have to write out the equation. X and y. Remember, x is weeks and y is balance. You can just put a dollar sign. Okay, so start plotting the points, but you need to number this. The weeks go from 0 to 9. So I go 0 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now the balance, I want you to start at 30. So start at 0's right there, then 30. 30 is your starting amount. And you go up in increments at 20. So 30 plus 20 is 50, 70, 90, 110, 130, and you can probably stop at 150 given the fact that it starts at ends at 136. So 0.35. It's between the 30 and the 50. Just get the point down. 1 and 68, so 168. 3 and 85, so 385. 4, 105, so 4, 105. And then 9, 136. So go all the way to 9 and then 136. Now they show a positive correlation, they're going up. So I take my ruler, I position my ruler on the first point, and I simply just go through the points. Okay, I don't try to connect them all. It won't happen. So I make a line that goes through the points, that follows the points kind of, from the first point though. Okay, I mean your line might go through some of them, not going to go through all of them. Everybody's line will look a little bit different, but you have to start at the first point. Now write an equation for the line we just drew. It's called a best fit equation. So y equals blank x plus blank m b. M is the slope, b is the y-intercept. Now is when I need the values on the table. So you need to put that first point right there. So that's 0.35. That's important later on. It makes it a heck of a lot easier if that's there, because that's your B. Okay. Then pick another point close to your line. Pick the one I pick in the video, but on your own you might pick a different point, and that's fine. I'm going to pick the one above the 3, so it would be 3.85. I'm going to pick the one above the 4, so it would be 4 with 105. Okay, well I'm pretty well set up to use y minus y, x minus x to figure the slope. So look at your x's, 4 is higher than 3, so we go 4 minus 3. 4's partner is 105, 3 partners 85. Okay, so that gives us 20 over 1. 20 divided by 1 is 20. Okay, remember if you have a 1, and it's a story problem anyway, so we're just going to divide. So every day, every week, every single week, it goes up by approximately 20. Not exactly, but close. Now you don't need to write a formula to find B. Your B is right there, 35. That's why you put it. Okay. So y equals 20x plus 35. That's the answer for part A. Predict what will be in the account after week 15. We'll write the equation out. Week 15, put 15 in the weeks column and x equals 15. Okay. Okay, so y equals 20 times 15 plus 35. Your y is all by itself, so you just go to the other side and do the math. Find the operations. 20 times 15 is 300. X is not, it's not 300x, it's just, I took the x out. So it's 300 plus 35, okay? So 300 plus 35 is 335. So that's your answer, $335. On the test, this is, you'll just be writing the equation, okay? There's not going to be a second part down here, but it didn't hurt us to go over it.